Welcome to Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women, the go-to podcast for women of color entrepreneurs overwhelmed by their finances and ready to transform their money mindset, take control of their money, and build sustainable wealth. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, certified financial coach and CEO of Money Honey LLC. I believe that abundance is your birthright and that good money management doesn't mean cutting out the joy from your life. Stick around to learn how you can build intentional money habits that align with your biggest lifestyle goals. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to episode 13 of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, and today we're tackling one of the biggest financial questions high achieving women ask. Which financial goals should I prioritize? Maybe you're deciding between goals like investing versus buying a house, paying off your debt versus scaling your business, or maxing out your retirement versus funding a big life goal. Here's the thing. There's no universal right answer. I know, it's like the one thing that high achievers hate hearing. However, the right financial goal is the one that aligns with the life you actually want to experience. That's what we're diving into today. How to identify the next best move for you. Before we get into today's episode, if you're ready to take control of your finances like the rich bitch you are, I invite you to book a 90-minute Organize Your Money Honey intensive with me. You'll walk away with a clear financial plan, a budget you'll actually stick to, and actionable steps to start saving and investing faster. Head to the link in the show notes to book your spot. And so with this one, I get asked this all the time, and often it is when I'm starting with a new client that we start to get into this question. And so today I want to walk you through a bit of the process that I walk my own clients through as we discover what is the next best goal for them. The big mindset shift here is that money is a tool for freedom. And that is something that I truly believe. And, high achievers, we are great at making money, but you can often feel stuck on what to do with it, especially once you start to get past the basics of, just getting your bills paid, saving a little bit of money. Maybe you've accumulated a good amount of savings and you just feel like you should be doing more. And, the traditional advice will say, pay off all your debt first, buy a house, then invest, or save 6 months of expenses before anything else. But truthfully, your financial goals should be tailored to your unique lifestyle, risk tolerance, and future vision. This is what makes personal finance personal. I remember when I was setting my own goals, it was harder for me to reach certain things that, we tend to hear about, like reaching that emergency fund savings amount of like 6 months when I had other priorities. I had other things that I wanted to do. And when I was able to truly focus on the things that were bringing me joy, that would align more with the life that I wanted to live. When I was personally pursuing those first, I reached them a lot faster than when I was going after the goals I felt like others were telling me I should go for, which tends to happen with a lot of the clients that I work with, is they feel like because family, societal pressures, whatever, are encouraging them to pursue particular goals, they feel like, oh, this is the quote unquote right way to do this, right way to build wealth. And the question that we want to ask is, what will give you the biggest return, not just financially, but emotionally and mentally? This is where the wealth aspect comes in. It's not just about how much money you have and, what the return on investment is going to be, the investment is more than just financial. It is how you are going to feel about the money that you have, how you're going to feel about the life you are able to live and create as a result of that money. And one of the things that I think about is I had this one client who came to me like stuck between investing and buying a house. She was making great money. She had, I want to say it was at least like 30,000 saved for like an emergency fund. But she really felt the pressure of like her family saying that she should be buying a house now that she has the job and the car and all those things. And there was a disconnect there. She was feeling like I could get the house, but this is kind of something I want to do with my partner once we get engaged. And it just wasn't something that was really exciting her. But then when I asked her what it is that she wanted that felt the most interesting to her in terms of financial goals or just finances, is she really wanted to start investing. She wanted to have some flexibility and build wealth. And she wanted to have like her money really maximized, right? So she was her money making money in that way. And that was not going to happen for her. She wasn't going to receive that same sort of feeling in return by pursuing the house purchase first, even though it felt like that's what she should do. And so we started to create a plan based off of being able to continue to save for a down payment or future house expenses, because it is something that she wanted later. But we focused a lot of intention on getting the investment portion started. It was around strategizing her retirement savings. It was in figuring out the ways that she could start to invest in the stock market, which is something she was interested in. And investing gave her a better return than locking cash into a down payment right now. So that's what it was for her, and that was the personal focus. And the end result of that is that she starts investing heavily while maintaining the option to buy a house later on her own terms. And there just felt like a weight lifted off of her. Even in our sessions, I could tell that, she was feeling a lot lighter. And then she even expressed that having that decision made around where she was going next with her finances also lifted that weight off of her shoulders in terms of what to do. Indecision can really like keep you stuck, and it can feel heavy because you are just stuck in that place of like, what do I do? Whereas when you actually make a decision, things start to align in your favor. You're able to start to move forward because you'll have situations, opportunities that present themselves that will help you to arrive at the space you want to be in with the goal that you select. And so here are some steps that you can use to choose your next financial goal. And one is to clarify your wealth priorities. So are you optimizing for cash flow, long-term wealth, or lifestyle upgrades? So if you want freedom, like financial freedom in 5 years, investing may serve you better than homeownership right now in terms of the way that those stack up. Now, on the other hand, if you are very focused on like, I've always wanted to be a homeowner, and so this is what I want to pursue, then that's awesome. That becomes your priority. If you are somebody who's like, I've had this goal to visit all of the Disney parks around the world in the next like 5-6 years, then that's amazing as well. And you can set up your finances to support that vision. The next thing that we want to do is evaluate your opportunity cost. So every financial decision comes with a trade-off. Every decision in life comes with a trade-off. And so like buying a house means tying up some cash, while investing might mean more liquidity and growth potential. it also depends on if you're going for like a rental property, there's a little bit more cash flow in that situation too. So it really just depends on what you are focused on. But yeah, you get to think about, okay, what do I gain from doing one versus the other? And which one sounds like the better move to make for me? And that's part of what I work with clients around too, is we're going to weigh your options. We're not just going to say like, okay, what feels best? We're going to take that and then also bring in some strategy and some numbers around it. So that way you can really go into it feeling like it's the best decision for you. And that's how you start to build the confidence behind your financial decisions. Historically, the S&P 500 averages a 10% return, while real estate appreciates at about 3 to 5% per year. And this is from the Federal Reserve, this statistic. And it just shows you, one, this is how I like to look at it, which may be different than others, is that either way, you're getting a bit of a return, right? Like there's some growth happening, especially when you are investing versus just saving and holding your money. That's the part that I want to say there. It's helpful to know that even if you are a little bit hesitant towards investing, if you go for something like an index fund, right, with the S&P 500, there's an average 10% return rate. And so that's one of those things where, if we're dealing with a bit of fear around losing money, we want to address a lot of the emotions and things that are under that, some of the situations that you're dealing with and what you're carrying, as well as understand that some of those belief systems could be blocking you from greater wealth and greater return. So overall, evaluate your opportunity cost. The next thing is that you want to stack your financial moves strategically. So one thing that my clients always hear me say, and my friends too at this point, is that every financial goal builds on another. Every financial skill that you learn builds on each other. They all build. So no matter what you start with, you are gaining the skills that's going to make it easier to move on to the next goal that you have. And so it's not an all or nothing type of approach. This is where, like, if you're torn between paying off debt and investing, you can do both, right? But weigh them based off of what makes sense for you right now. So I tend to work with clients around, like, if there is a particular thing that feels like once I get through or once I reach this goal, like everything else feels a bit better. That tends to come from feeling a particular emotion or sense of accomplishment with a particular goal. And normally, if there is something that is just energized in that way in terms of your goal, that's the one that I like to help you to pursue first or work through first. Not always the case, right? There might be some things where it's like, yeah, we just got to build the discipline and get through it. But ideally, if we can pursue that one first, that's going to help you to build the skills to reach the next one. And so another option there, right? We've talked about investing and buying a house. Then with that situation, maybe you choose to invest first. The consistency that you develop with investing is going to help you in the consistency that you need with saving for the down payment or for paying off the mortgage. It could also help you with, like, if you go the opposite, right? Saving for that down payment can help you with the consistency of putting the money away for investing. And then just starting to understand different ways that you can invest and grow wealth as well with both of those, right? You get to learn about leverage when it comes to investing, no matter what path you take. And so that is something that we want to think about too. So you want to stack your moves strategically. And then this is the little thing that I want to address here, because I often have folks who are like, okay, what about the debt-free first conversation? So high achievers often feel like they need to quote unquote, like clean up their finances or get their finances together before building wealth. But this is where I feel like, especially as women of color, we hold ourselves back because there are certain rules and systems in place that have historically held us back from tapping into the same resources that other communities have. Part of that has led to the need to accumulate maybe some consumer debt or other type of debt before you can move forward. And then we're also, and they do a lot of these companies will focus specifically on communities of color when they are saying like, oh, you need to be debt free before you can do certain things, or no, you should definitely wait until all of your debt is paid off before you invest. And that is further from what you should be doing, furthest, honestly. Okay. If you want to be able to do both, because the biggest thing when it comes to investing and the biggest benefit is time. You need time in the market. Okay. You need time to accumulate, even if it's on the real estate side, for it to appreciate, you need time. We do not want to wait until we are debt free to invest. You can do both. Okay. We want to experience both sides of that compound growth. And so investing, let's just use an example, right? So investing like $500 a month at 8% can grow to $1 million in 30 years. But delaying that by 5 years drops that down to $680,000. Okay, so if you do the math, that's a big chunk of money that you're missing out on by waiting until you are completely debt free. So we can do it in a way that maybe it's not you're investing as much as you would want to while you are paying off your high interest consumer debt, but we want to be able to at least put a couple hundred in there and then focus the bulk of our attention for a short period of time. Often when I'm working with clients, we are breaking free from debt within 2 years or less. Okay. And so we are only doing like the higher debt payments, higher debt payoff payments for a couple years. And then you can start to invest even more after that is done and paid off. Okay. So the next thing that I want to get to here is the let's get into the best financial goal to prioritize, okay? The one to pursue. And I want to reiterate this, that it's not about what you should do. It's about what makes the best sense for you. Again, personal finance is personal. Okay. And if you, there's a couple places that you can start, right? So maybe it is having more cash available. And so maybe that does mean that you want to increase your savings for for a particular thing. Maybe it's your income has increased over the last few years. And so now, having a couple months saved for like emergency savings makes sense for you. And so we're increasing the savings goal. Maybe it's like now that you have more money available to you, you can now increase the amount that you're saving for retirement. Okay. Maybe it is eliminating that high interest debt because we want to get rid of that high interest. So that way you have more money available to you to reach more of these goals. There's often a lot of guilt, shame, anxiety tied to that. And so that could be a place that we pursue first. And so the other thing is that we want to invest early and we want to invest often. So whether homeownership is a future goal or not, whether you have a career change that you want to make or not, investing is a great way to support the things that you want to do and you want to see in your life going forward. Your money should be a tool for freedom, not stress. The goals that we want to prioritize are going to be the ones that are going to take us closer to freedom and away from stress. Now, for our action step this week, I want you to ask yourself, what financial move best supports the life I'm creating? And from there, I want you to take 3, or I would say like up to 3 goals or moves that you come up with from asking yourself that question. And I want you to choose just one to pursue first. Now, like I said, we can layer, they all build on each other, right? So we can layer the others in, but we want to figure out which one you want to prioritize the most and take it from there. Okay. And honestly, the Organize Your Money Honey Intensive is where I do this a lot with my clients. So that is a great place if you want some personalized support around figuring out which goal you want to prioritize. Sometimes we even just want like a second set of eyes on like or some confirmation around like, this is what I'm thinking, how do we make this work? That is what a lot of folks use that Organize Your Money Honey intensive session for, in addition to getting organized to set up your money systems to achieve this goal. So we can talk about that during that session. I also work with clients a lot one-on-one to come up with what we're prioritizing, develop a specific plan, and then have develop the habits behind them to reach these goals and to be able to overcome any obstacles that you might face along the way and to grow into the person who reaches the goals that you have in mind. Okay, so that's what we do in the Organize Your Money Honey session and in my one-on-one coaching. I will add the links to both of those in the show notes, so you can, of course, schedule the session or you can apply for the one-on-one coaching. And with that, we have a couple of episodes coming up. So we're going to be talking about the different types of accounts to have, as well as when to hire a financial coach and when to hire a CPA. And so, as always, I want to thank you for listening today. I want to thank you for all the love, support, downloads, all of the things. If you have a takeaway from this episode, I want you to share it in your Instagram stories, or you can just DM me at HeyTMoneyHoney on Instagram. You can also share it on Threads. I'm very active there. So either way, I look forward to hearing what your goals are, what your takeaway is. And I also look forward to seeing you in that Organize Your Money Honey session. And so with that, thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I hope the insights shared in this episode have inspired you to take one small action step toward a more empowered relationship with money. If you're ready to take control of your finances like the rich bitch you are, I invite you to book a 90-minute Organize Your Money Honey intensive with me. You'll walk away with a crystal clear financial plan, a budget you'll actually stick to, and actionable steps to start saving and investing faster. Head to the link in the show notes to book your spot. I'm so grateful to be part of your financial journey, and I can't wait to see all the incredible moves you'll make. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.